We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. There's been reports all over the area of something crazy going on, something big. People's homes, their minds even, are being taken over by something called, what is it they're calling it? They're calling it Bad Movie Debate.
What up, nerds? It's me, Jacob Bad, for Bad Movie Debate, here for another debate episode. This one's going to be funny, question mark? I don't know. You tell me. Hey, say hey, Sam. Say hey, Sam.
Hey, I'm Sam.
Hell yeah. It worked. We did it. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Biodome, the Pauly Shore and whoever else is in this movie.
Stephen Baldwin, which I didn't even know there was that many Baldwins. Did you know the Baldwin?
I know that there's a Stephen Baldwin, but where was he in this movie?
He was the second character, the two dummies.
Baldwin,
yeah.
With the weird little tip.
With like the dreads, yeah.
The frosted tip dreads.
Yeah.
Holy shit. No, I did not realize that was him. I was like, yeah, that's Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen a lot of his
Which
movies.
Honestly, between the two of them, I think Pauly Shore is the talent of being silly. He's like the king of silly.
Yeah, he was definitely like the lead out of the two.
Yeah.
And Baldwin was just kind of bouncing off of him. And
he was.
It worked. But yeah, Pauly Shore was definitely the lead. So yeah, we're doing Biodome. So, we're going to go over ratings and reviews and all that. And but first, we're going to do our top 5 slapstick comedies of the 90s. Because that's exactly what this movie is. And it's nothing else but that.
Yeah.
This movie is insane. But I think there's some pros that go along with that. It has that feel to it. But we'll get into that more. So what are your top 5 slapstick comedies?
So, as I've gotten older, I feel like I don't like slapstick as much. Like, I feel like, maturity has hit. Like, this is cringy as hell. But I did, when I was looking back at all the different 90s slapstick movies, I was like, wow, I actually watched a lot of these.
Yeah, same.
And I was like, how do I pick a favorite?
Yeah, I was like, wow. Because I was like 10 minutes into Biodome, and I was like, oh shit, I need to find, my comedies. And I was like, if there's even 5, and I was like, damn, I gotta narrow it down.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I've seen a lot of these, and I really like a lot of these. At least
I guess because when we were younger, it's like we just want to lean into that silliness. And I feel like how many Mountain Dews did I drink while I was, watching these? And I can't even drink one Mountain Dew without wanting to throw up now.
Cannot. No, it's insane.
But no, my top, so my number one, and I think this is probably because of how I grew up, but Tommy Boy.
Oh, yeah.
I love Chris Farley and David Spade. Really, David Spade, I could watch anything, but their duo together is
that's a really good one.
They're very much kind of like the dynamic that Pauly Shore and them have. So it's
they have the same energy for sure.
Yeah.
And just Tommy Boy. Man, it's been so long since I've seen it, but that scene, new guys in the corner puking his guts out, is that phrase. I use that phrase all the time, and I probably haven't actually watched that movie in 10 years.
Right. Or the big guy in a little coat and rips it. Such a classic line.
Oh yeah. Holy shnikey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Holy shnikey. Oh my gosh.
God. Chris Farley.
Yeah. R.I.P.
He was one of the best.
Yes.
He was one of the best.
Speaking of another good one, though. Yeah, it's another good one, though. Another good actor, Ben Stiller. I feel like he was in a lot of these slapstick ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Something About Mary was one of my faves.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that one?
I don't think so. It's one of those ones that I'm there's no way I haven't, but when I see clips or people talk about it, I'm maybe I haven't, so I don't think I have.
I mean, it's not as slapstick as some, but basically the premise is Ben Stiller gets the super hot Cameron Diaz as his prom date, goes to pick her up, and he goes to the bathroom, and then he zips his wee-wee up in his zipper. And that's how the movie starts. And then it's
Incredible.
Fast forward, and he's trying to get her back. And it's kind of this. That's where it becomes kind of more slapstick.
Yeah.
Because it's he's competing with this other guy. But
yeah.
really good. Highly recommend it. Also, just anything with Cameron Diaz I could watch all day.
I got a Cameron Diaz one on.
Yeah. Also on the Ben Stiller kick, Heavyweights was on.
Okay,
there.
when I googled it, that came up, and I was like, I was kind of surprised, but then I kind of thought about it, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, just because there's like the main cast is kids doesn't mean it can't be slapstick,
Exactly.
So like, yeah, I would say that movie
And
rocks,
like Ben Stiller, I didn't realize like played the same type of character in Dodgeball.
Exactly, dude. I was just about to say, I've seen people be like that's the same guy, right? He just changed his name and then like started this Dodgeball gym and stuff. Like they're one and the same. He just I can't remember how Heavyweights is, but like he like may or may not have committed crimes at that camp.
1000%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
And it's also cringy as heck too.
Oh yeah, it's super cringy. I mean, the entire premise is insane.
Yes.
Like it only could be made in the 90s. But which is why it's a treasure, and I do like that movie, even though it's kind of wild. But yeah, I like that theory that it's the same guy. He just moved to a different city and changed his name, changed his look, but he's
literally the same energy. Yeah, so he didn't have to practice for that character at all.
He's like, I'll just pick this right back up.
I don't know when Dodgeball came out. Was it after Heavyweights? I think
Definitely.
It was.
Yeah, that was like mid-aughts, like maybe like 2005 or 6 or something like that. Like,
so he's already had good practice. That's why he was so good in Dodgeball. Yeah, he was like,
I remember watching it in middle school and like in middle school, not even high school.
Because it was a Disney movie. We would watch it on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think Dodgeball came out in 2005 is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Heavyweights was early 2000s.
Yeah, they're 1995.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wrote down
I was
that.
born.
Yeah, it's a good year.
So love that movie.
I saw a $5 bill the other day come through my cash register, and it was from 1997. I was like, wow, I haven't seen a bill like this. And I'm like, wow, am I old for being like, wow, I haven't seen a bill like this?
I saw a 20 come through the other day, and we have some pretty young coworkers, and she was like, that looks weird. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
You're like, no, that looks,
it looks like childhood.
Normal.
It
Yeah.
looks like childhood. Shut the fuck up.
You idiot.
I'm almost 30. Shut up. Leave me alone. Man, Heavyweights.
Yeah, love Heavyweights.
Love Heavyweights.
But also like, well, the last two are another two like great actors for this series, like for this era. But is an Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's as slapstick as some of the slapstick, but like
it's definitely
of the Adam Sandler ones, that was my fave.
Slapstick of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Because like there are some of his that are really lean into it, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, but that one's less.
There's like more story to it. Yeah. It's like,
the plot isn't just kind of like random bullshit.
Yeah, it's like more wholesome.
Yeah, it's more wholesome. There's like there's like actually a message.
Yes,
like,
there's actually a message.
And stuff like that. That's like, you can actually like glean something from that movie. But when the humor comes, it comes in a slapstick kind of format, I would say. So yeah, great movie though.
Love that one. And then last one is a Jim Carrey, Liar Liar.
Damn. That's such a good movie. I mean, anything 90s Jim Carrey is going to be slapstick across the board. So the craziest thing, no overlap. I don't think I have any of those.
Really?
Online,
I thought for sure that we would have
which
overlap.
just shows
but maybe
how many there are and how many good ones there are.
But also, like, I'm a female, you're a male. I grew up with an older sister and a younger brother. So, like, all the ones that I watched when I watched these movies, I was, like, with my friends' older siblings. Like,
Fair.
I was, like, not hanging out with my family.
Right.
And they were all like girls, like older girls. So like, I wonder if that has something to do with it.
I only have the one older sister, but I watch these movies by myself. I watched every single one of these movies by myself. I think my sister may have watched a couple of them. Yeah. But just cause. Yeah. Honestly, my sister and I, what we mostly watched is after my parents went to sleep. So back in the day, for the youngins out there. So back in the day, the only kind of streaming you had was Comcast, and there was on-demand movies you could do at home, right? Where if you had the box, you could go, and there'd be free movie channels, and you could watch those. There was one called FearNet, where it was just a bunch of, I'm talking like Z-list horror movies. Like some of the worst, dumbest, just absolute garbage horror movies. And we would stay up late and watch like 2 or 3 of those a night and just like shit on them because they were so bad.
Oh, I love that.
Which is crazy though, because my sister does not fuck with horror in any shape, form, or fashion now, and I'm deeply obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Still to this day. But we literally just
Went
watch
2
them and
different
laugh and be like, we were just like, yeah, it's one of the free channels. Like, this one sounds dumb. Like, let's go. And like, kind of honestly, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, and everything. So I watched those, all these comedy movies, all me by myself, just being a fucking like middle school kid, boy, being like, at all the dumb jokes.
What was the number 1 for you?
I love that. Number 1. So I don't know if I have a number 1. It's hard.
What's tied? What's your tie?
So I think my 2 number 1s that came up, because I looked at a few lists and obviously there was repeat, but again, as we just established, there's a ton of these.
Yeah.
Like, because we're about to say completely different movies. The Mask.
Oh, The Mask.
The Mask. That's the Cameron Diaz one. The Mask is absolutely incredible.
Very good.
And just the entire story, it's just so weird. But there's also so much slapstick humor to it.
Yeah.
That it's like classic, you know? So I absolutely love that one. And then there's a special place in my heart for Wayne's World.
I thought about putting that one on my list.
Mhm.
It's another one very like the same type of dynamic of silliness.
Mhm.
The 2 characters being super, super silly the whole time.
It's just ridiculous.
And they just like
it's so
improving
funny.
almost like.
Right. Well, they just did like entire bits. Like they did like when they're doing they weren't taking themselves too seriously. And that's why I really like that one, because the scene where he's like he goes to play Stairway to Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, hey, and he points to the sign and says no stairway. That was a bit because they couldn't afford to get the rights to Stairway to Heaven to play in the movie. So like that, they literally made that entire bit where they both look at the camera and go bogus, like because like they were like, oh, we can't get the rights to that. It's just writing this quick little bit, like talking like, and so I was like, they're just not even taking it that serious, but it plays just super well. So
Yeah.
The Mask and Ace Ventura, or not Ace Ventura, but Wayne's World. Ace Ventura is also on my list
Oh,
because
love
I also
it.
love Pet Detective. It's so funny.
That one's a good one.
It's so funny. I hate his fucking hair and just
It's
everything
a
about
mess.
him. His entire persona. I think it's the first one. Yeah, when he's opening and shutting the thing, just like screaming, like like just the entire, just all that stuff. Jim Carrey is just amazing, and I
They're
just
just
love
so
him so
silly. Yeah.
much. And then I've got Happy Gilmore. That's my Adam Sandler one.
Okay.
I was debating between that and Billy Madison,
Mm-hmm.
but Happy Gilmore, I think, just, I don't know, that one just has a little bit of a leg up for some reason.
Yeah.
And it might be because Carl Weathers is in it, and he's incredible with his fucking hand and stuff. Is absolutely insane. Happy Gilmore's great, and there's a lot of like people that pop up in there, which is awesome. But that one I think just is a little bit better. And then my last one, because I would be remiss to not put, if we're gonna go like I was looking at 90s specifically, I'd be remiss to put Robin Hood Men in Tights, the Mel Brooks Robin Hood slapstick movie.
I admittedly have never watched it.
So you've seen oh my god, why am I blanking?
Like
The
Monty
Princess
Python?
Bride.
Okay, yes. So very similar.
The Princess Bride. The Dread Pirate Roberts plays Robin Hood in this movie.
That's perfect. Okay.
And it's literally just the story of Robin Hood and like all his merry men and stuff, like doing their thing, done by the guy who did Spaceballs.
Okay, so I need to watch
and Young
it
Frankenstein.
then. Yes.
It's it's literally called Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I love
like,
that.
It's so freaking good. It's not Mel Brooks' best one, but it was like, but he was doing slapstick. Like, I mean, Spaceballs was in the 80s. Young Frankenstein was like way older than all this. Like, there is like Biodome and all these other movies are nothing without Mel Brooks, you know, kind
it's
of a
very
thing.
true.
So I was like, I gotta put. I was like, and that one came out in the 90s because I was trying to limit to the 90s, especially after I was looking and I was like, holy shit, there's so many from across multiple decades that I really like.
Right.
I was like, I'll go 90s only to narrow it down. Special shout out though to Austin Powers. I was very close to picking that one over Wayne's
I didn't
World.
know which one to pick though. Like,
First one.
Genuinely.
First one, International Man of Mystery is the best one. All of them are good.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched a lot of Goldmember.
Goldmember is great. You got Beyonce in there. It's incredible. You get Michael Caine as the dad, and like you find out that they're brothers and stuff. Like great lore in that one. But that first one is just so good with the fembots.
Oh my god, they're so good. I'll never forget that.
It's absolutely absurd. And then the twist. Spoiler alert. Shocker. You find out she's a fembot too the entire time.
They all
so good.
Trick you. Yeah.
So good.
No, I love it.
So good. Okay, so we know our slapstick movies, I would say.
I agree.
So Biodome though. This one's Did you look at the Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I know. I saw it today actually.
It's really, really rough.
Would you say it's the roughest that you've done?
I think this might be the lowest score, especially for like the tomato meter. It's not the lowest popcorn meter one, like the audience score, but it's also the lowest IMDb and the lowest Metacritic score I've ever done across the board.
But like, okay,
it's insane.
I'm not like a huge I'm arguing against the movie or whatever. We're discussing it, but I still love Slapstick. I love the movie.
Yeah, of course.
I think it deserves more than a 4.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Like,
and
for
it was
sure.
a quick movie. I feel like it wasn't long.
like there wasn't
like,
it didn't drag or anything.
No.
So yeah. So I think it deserves more than the 4
yeah.
that it got on Rotten Tomatoes.
4.
It got a fucking 4 on the tomato meter. The audience score, which is now apparently the popcorn meter, was a 51, which I've done lower than audience scores is 51.
So audience does think it deserves more than
audience
4.
is like pretty 50-50, like it's ass or like yeah, it was fun, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so that's not bad. IMDb, who is literally always between 5.8 and like 7.1, 4.4.
Wow, really?
Really low for IMDb, who is usually like down the road, in the middle, impartial about everything. Now Metacritic.
Oh, no.
So before I say this number for their critic score, their critic scores are out of 100, like out of percent, out of like a percentage. So like out of 100, and then their user score is like out of 10. Okay. So they kind of combine the Rotten Tomatoes thing and the IMDb thing. And that's how they do it. So I'm going to do the user score first because the critic score is wild. User score 3.7 out of 10. So pretty bad. They're usually harsher over on Metacritic. Like there's no doubt about that. Their critic score 1.
What? Oh, poor Pauly Shore.
I literally looked at it and was like, I went to the homepage of Metacritic when I looked it up to be like, I thought that was out of 100, not out of 10. And like the first thing that came up was like Wicked, like on their homepage, and it was like 92. And I was like,
you're like, it is out of 100.
Oh, it is out of 100. It's just that's just how rough.
Metacritic wants this movie off streaming. They're like, this needs to go die.
I mean, like I had to rent it. It wasn't like on it. Like you can't watch it for free. Like you have to pay to watch this.
Oh no! Like, you should have just come over to my house.
I know. Wait, what? You have it? You own this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. Wink. Fair enough. So yeah, that was just insane. I legitimately was like, I've been doing this for a while. I'm pretty sure it's out of 100 for the Metacritic. But yeah, literally a 1.
A 1.
So this is definitely the lowest movie that I've ever had to do.
But is it low or is it high? Is it number 1 though? Because it's 1, does it mean it actually is number 1?
No, because I don't think they would put like Wicked at 92. Like at 92 was bad, you know. Like and it was
maybe they just don't like musicals.
Well, the score was also really or not the score, but the like the graphic was bright red 1, and the 92 is bright green, like happy, you know, like a hard like stop.
Like don't red means stop. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that's
so
unfortunate.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I was shocked. And to further that point, so I like to do good quote, bad quote, right? Like my favorites are the bad quotes, which there was a ton of.
Oh.
So the good quote. This is my favorite good quote that I've ever done. It comes from Rob Blackwelder for Spliced Wire, the only positive review I could find on IMDb. I usually do the top critics only, meaning that they're like people who work for like papers or like online things and stuff. I had to go to all to find somebody. So Spliced Wire, I don't know what it is. It's not as fancy as the New York Times, like, so it's not top critic status. 3 out of 5. That's it. There is
literally
there's no quote. There is no I clicked like read full review. That there is, it's not hyperlinked to a full review. It's just this guy Rob said 3 out of 5, which is where the 4% comes from, because every other one is a splat. Every other review out of like the 30 or so on Rotten Tomatoes is a bad review.
Wow.
So this is my favorite one because there's literally no words.
This is just literally a bad movie to me.
It says it's like there's usually where the quote is, it's blank. And then underneath it's like read full review, like some this, that, and then it's like their rating. If like it literally just says 3 out of 5.
Wow.
No comment. Just
we're really gonna make you listeners want to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's insane. But the bad quote, plenty to choose from there. And coincidentally, this does come from the New York Times. This is Stephen Holden, who said, quote, inept in almost every respect, end quote. My favorite kind of bad review. Short, sweet, brutal as hell. Just absolutely inept. Like the acting, the cinematography, the plot, everything was terrible in this entire movie. And I love that comment.
That's so good.
I love it so much.
It's so bad,
those
but
kind
it's
of
so
comments,
good.
Those kind of comments make me so happy. So yeah, that's what we're working with here as we dive in.
I feel like before we do these podcasts, like we need to prepare our own review, like our own. If we were posting it, like
quick little
if
quote.
somebody was gonna post, if you were gonna post something on there, what review would you give?
What would I say?
Well, no, you wouldn't. I mean, obviously, I don't have to put you on the spot right now, but I'm saying like in the future. In the future,
yeah,
I feel like that would be like,
thing, yeah.
Give me your critic
quote.
Your critic review.
Your critic review quote. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah. That'd be fun. Okay, cool. We'll do that going forward.
Like as if we were just being critics. We are being critics.
I mean, we literally are.
Critics,
we are criticizing this movie.
Exactly.
Which is really hard to do because it's good. Because I'm defending it.
I know. I really gave you a good one to defend.
I literally Googled it as it was starting up and I was like, holy shit, 4%.
No, well, I
was like, oh my God.
It's hard. It's hard because I like the movie, but I know it's a bad movie. So I was like, it could be fun to defend it. But
it was better than I thought.
Yeah.
I will say that proudly. I enjoyed it a lot more. But
I think it would be, I think it's more fun to say it's bad.
Absolutely. You mean easier. Easier to say it's bad. It's fine. So to get the just, general conversation flowing, you're saying it's bad, I'm saying it's good. What's something you really don't like? Or rather, what's something you do like about this movie? And I'm used to doing it the other way.
I know.
I'm usually attacking. So what's something you do like about this movie, or like that what you thought was like a positive, and I'll say something that is a negative, just to kind of get us spitballing here.
I feel like the thing I really do like about the movie is the amount of energy that they put into it. So like Pauly Shore alone is just like his own enigma. And you have to watch the movie. He actually has his own podcast now. It started in 2023. And he's like the same guy. Anyway, I'm going off a tangent. But my favorite thing is that he brings so much energy, and the soundtrack brings so much energy.
And
it's
great.
Like constantly just like boop, 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 and then before you know it, it's over. And
yeah, I was kind of shocked.
You're kind of along for a ride.
Like,
but
it was a good hour 30.
Yeah.
Like plus or minus. Like, yeah. No, I agree with that. The energy of the movie, it's very upbeat. And even when, like, as with all slapstick, like, even when, like, the, like, oh no, everything's going wrong, we gotta fix it moment, like, it was still, like, moving at a good pace.
Yeah.
We didn't get bogged down in, like, the, like, oh, we're gonna be real sad, and like everything's gone real bad for like a long time,
right?
Which I think is good for this kind of movie.
Yeah, because it's pretty cringy.
Movie.
Yeah, because when you don't want to live, you don't want to live in the cringe for too long.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's never good. But I would agree with that, especially with the soundtrack thing. Like I thought the soundtrack was a lot of fun. I will say, so two things now because that did remind me of something. So the title sequence. I hated the title sequence with all the random like just random cuts of like random bullshit. Like
they did do that.
And it was, the reason I hate it is because like, here's an entire punk song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they literally played an entire 2.5 minute punk song.
It was a long intro.
And let it play while they did all the opening credits.
Isn't that a thing they did though in the 90s?
So yeah, it was more of a thing because like it would get like, you know, like music out. Like you could listen to the entire song on a soundtrack doing that.
And before you could like fast forward through it,
exactly.
like you had to sit there and wait.
You would sit there and watch it.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because like if you wanted to go see this movie in theaters, you obviously can't fast forward. But then like in the 90s, like you have to wait for the tape to come out. But like you don't want to miss the new movie, whatever it is. So like, yeah, there would be extended ones for that. But this one, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't like punk music. Don't get it twisted. Just the images and stuff were just like so intense and like, I was just like, okay. Like,
a little overwhelming.
Yeah, it was very overwhelming for working a 10-hour shift and having to wake up to go doing a clopen.
Yeah.
I was like, because I watched it last night and I was like, fuck man, I got a clopen. This is way too much energy. I gotta go to bed like almost as soon as this movie.
You should have watched it like to pregame for your next thing. Like, you know, like
right.
That's a good. I feel like that's a good movie to like put on when you're pregaming with your friends because it's just
background
super
movie.
Yeah.
Really pop in at any moment and you'll know what's happening.
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
It is.
There you go. So that just kind of was maybe bad timing on my part, but I literally the first thing I wrote down was like, this intro's too long and I'm stressed. Like, it was the first thing I wrote down. But also the thing I really, really do not like about this movie, I do not like the SA joke, the sexual assault joke.
That's where the cringe,
with like that was really cringy.
Yeah,
it was not okay then. It's not okay now. But like, apparently in the 90s you could get away with that and like put out a movie in theaters, like, and make that like a comedy and stuff. Like when they the first night when they're like, oh, I can't sleep, like in this fucking closet when they get stuck in the biodome, and they're like, oh, like we gotta go find a bed, and they go into like the female scientist bed.
Yeah,
like it's not like if they had just gone in and like snuggled up and stuff, like and like went to sleep, and then they yelled and like kicked them out and stuff. Okay, not great, but better.
Yeah,
but they like. You know, like they're creepy and they
were being creepy.
They do weird stuff. And I was like, I literally had to be like, it's the 90s. If it doesn't go any further than that and they don't keep doing that, okay. But like, I just hated that I had to like be like, I hate, like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to forgive it because of when it came out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and like, that was a bummer. For sure. And it doesn't happen again. Like nothing like really happens like that again. Like they're trying to like get with the scientists and stuff, but it's in a much more like tasteful, I mean as tasteful as this movie can be, like manner. But like you know what I mean? So I did not like that. Mm-hmm. But only happened once. It was in the 90s. I not trying to forgive it. It's not right, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Can't do anything about it. So bad writing by whoever wrote this movie. But,
the whole movie is bad. But entertaining, I'd say.
All right, thank you for listening.
Yeah,
it's over.
No. Do you give like the spiel on what the movie was about so that the listeners know what we're talking about, or do you think that people like just know what movie we're talking about? So I feel like I talked a lot.
This movie,
I feel like not a lot of people know this movie.
I feel like this movie because I had never seen it. I know of it, and I know it's like the basic premise, you know. But like, why don't you hit us with that in a more in depth thing? Because I feel like. Out of any Pauly Shore movie, this is one of the most random. Because Encino Man's is number one with Brendan Fraser, where they're cavemen, but then they like come back alive in the 90s because they're like frozen in ice or some shit
Right.
and stuff like that. Like that's Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore. So that's like his number one movie, obviously. So everybody's seen that one.
Yeah.
There's another one called In the Army that's apparently not that bad, but I feel like this one's like lower tier. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and hit us with the like, what the fuck are we even talking about?
All right, so this is just like the Wikipedia, but Bud and Doyle get simultaneously dumped by their eco-conscious girlfriends, Monique and Jen, in the middle of the desert. Needing a bathroom, the two friends enter what they think is a mall, but soon realize it's a high-profile, secure biological experiment. As they engage in a year-long battle with the Dr. Faulkner and the other scientists, Bud and Doyle are forced to confront recklessness of their behavior. This is a very nice way of saying what this movie is.
It's a very nice way of putting it.
It's like, oh, they are stuck in this
they grow
biodome.
up.
And
they grow up.
and then there's a theme and actually a message.
Yeah, there's themes and morals.
I feel like there's not at all, to be fair.
I found some that are not that. We'll talk about later.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it. They're literally trying to, what does he say?
He's trying to win their girlfriends back.
They're trying to win their girlfriends back because they're like, they don't give a shit about the environment, but the girlfriends do.
Yeah, but they're super hot.
But they're super hot.
So like,
and
we gotta get back together with them. And
yeah,
they're
like
dumb.
they're like gonna leave us for these swimmers because they're so mad. Then they get a phone call. They're like, yeah, these Arizona Tech swimmers. And they're like, not these fucking swimmers, dude. Like, hell no. And so they trick him, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they're literally like, he's like, I gotta go pee. And he's like, oh, stop at this new mall that's opening up. And then he throws a firecracker so they can sneak in.
Yeah.
Like, which is, you know,
they're just always up to
arguably
nonsense.
an act of terrorism.
Right. Yeah. On
Like,
a major
people
thing.
are like, shots. People are freaking out, dude. And
they just have firecrackers on them too.
Oh, okay, so I did write that down because when they were going to like first try to meet the girlfriends at like the lake that's no longer a lake and it's full of trash. This is like an eco like statement from the girlfriends. He says as they're driving, he says, it's not like we don't care about the environment too. And then Pauly Shore throws a firecracker out the window, and then it cuts to what's obviously a fake rabbit, and it lands next to the fake rabbit, and it blows up. Like there's no blood or guts or anything, but it's just like, obviously we care about the environment.
Blows up,
firecracker, and a rabbit just explodes and stuff, which is a pretty funny bit. But yeah, so he has firecrackers on him. It's established.
Yeah.
is all I'm saying. He doesn't just randomly have them.
Well,
he brought them from home.
And has the lighter and ready for mayhem.
Okay. There's no way these two don't have a lighter on them at all times.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Wink, wink,
well,
wink.
are they stoners or are they just critically insane? Chronically insane? I don't even know what the right word is.
They are. They're chronically insane.
They're just insane.
Chronically. Wink. You get what I'm saying?
They're
chronically insane. Yeah, exactly. People still call it chronic. Is that a thing?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't.
I don't.
But I know what you're talking about because
Cool.
we're 30.
Yeah,
we get it.
Exactly. Yeah, dude.
We
Dr. Dre,
know.
The Chronic, great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're chronically insane. They drink a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like what they do all the time, which is fine. We're drinking right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Like, so he does have firecrackers. He blows up. He does that as a distraction so they can sneak in because they're like, why won't you let us in this fucking mall? And like, which is kind of one of those things with any slapstick movie. And this is a negative thing about all of them. Literally, all that guy had to do, the security guard, instead of like flexing his authority and being a douche, like mall cops usually are, he could have just been like, this is not a mall. This is like, he could have explained what it was. Even if they didn't fully understand it, he could have been like, this is not a mall.
This is not a bathroom.
This is not a public place that you can come and find a bathroom. If you go over here, that's where a bathroom is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because there was an event going on, the first day of going
grand
into the
opening.
Biodome.
Yeah, they should have had the
There was
doors
a ton
locked.
of people. The doors should have been locked where they couldn't have come in until the actual people needed to go in. That was kind of the whole point. The homeostasis was the whole point. And I know I'm supposed to be defending this movie, but this is kind of a critique on slapstick in general.
Yeah,
but like, obviously, it's not part of the point, you know, of like what slapstick movies are supposed to do. It could have been like, there's porta potties over there. I had to imagine there's porta potties for these fucking all these guests who were
people
watching
coming for
it.
they were all coming for the ribbon cutting.
The ribbon cutting, like the reporters and stuff. There had to have been a bathroom he could have directed them to, but instead he went, Get the fuck out of here, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm strong.
I'm better than you.
I'm better than you because I'm getting paid to guard this today because I'm a mall cop.
Yeah.
You know, like, so. But,
all of the mall cops can be convinced to do something else. They always have a distraction for somewhere else, right?
Exactly. Granted, the firecracker, pretty big distraction.
Very big distraction. Very, very fair.
Very
But
insane.
why wouldn't they have more security guards? But that's the point.
I mean, again, that's part of what I'm saying. It's just the nature of slapstick comedy. Again, think of not Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore makes a little more sense. Billy Madison.
Yeah.
The plot of that movie is insane. Why would anybody anywhere ever agree to that? Like him, he has to take every single grade over again so he can, like, what is it? Take over his father's company?
Yep.
Like, is that what it is? It's been a while since I've seen it. Like, why? Like, that's insane. But nobody questions that.
So,
one.
like, I guess no logic. Like, if you argue this movie is good or bad, you can't even use logic because timing, being in the 90s, you know, very cringeworthy
100%.
events. And then, like, just the whole premise of slapstick not being, like, not making sense is it's the whole point of that's a comedy, which is why as you get older, it becomes, like, way less attractive to you because you're like, this isn't real, you know? But then when you watch it back over, you're like, so dumb. I wish I could just be innocent and, like, silly and dumb and just, like, not give a shit. But at the same time, like, you watch these, like, serious topics, like the ecosystem, the climate change, you know? And they're like...
Which... Again, we'll get to it. Because it's my saving grace.
Yes,
it's my saving grace about this movie. I did think the like main investor, him kind of like saving face, because again at the beginning we did not know that there was a back door. You know, like that you could actually like unlock and like come in and out and stuff. The doors were. Like what do you say? Like $100 million.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, today that's a lot of money, but the 90s, that's a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So obviously he spent a bunch of money, and so like he put those doors could not open for any reason. That was like part of like the whole shtick of the Biodome. I think he did have a good save with being like, these guys are here to introduce chaos theory because you can't have a perfect world. Like, the world's not perfect. You can't account for everything. So these guys are here to disrupt, and here they are already doing it.
That was on the fly.
That shit up. I was like, that is a perfectly normal, sane, like, that's a genius. Like,
everybody didn't care. Yeah.
Everybody was like,
they're like, wow.
That's a great idea. Like, wow, they're thinking about chaos theory with all the like biology and like I can't ever remember like the bug stuff and like all the like ecology and stuff. They're like wow, they're thinking of everything. I was like, that's a pretty good save for like the like beginning of this movie.
I agree.
Because I was like, they're really going in there and they're just gonna get stuck and they're not gonna be able to just pop them out. But then he says that, and I was like, that's actually a good way to like force them to stay there, you know, like looking at like narrative and structure of like a movie to like tell like and like storytelling and stuff. I was like, that's pretty solid actually. Yeah. Like that, like, and like, you know, dude's fucking rich, so he's got to be decently smart. He comes up with shit on the fly to like fix problems. So
I mean, he is a leprechaun.
Wait, what?
Don't you remember? Sorry, different movie, but the same actor. Fine. Same actor plays in the Leprechaun movie, the Disney Channel one.
Luck of the Irish?
Yeah.
He's the leprechaun in Luck of the Irish?
Isn't the investor guy? The investor guy with the white hair, he's short.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I know. I have to look this up. I'm so curious.
Leprechauns are sneaky. They know how to...
I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Once a leprechaun, always a leprechaun, no matter what movie you're in.
Shit, dude.
Are you looking it up?
I have to.
I'm pretty positive. I know. Okay, I loved Luck of the Irish.
Henry Gibson. Yes, that's him. Mr. Leakey. Okay. I'm not going to be able to focus on anything else if I don't look at this. If I don't check this. Fuck, when did Luck of the Irish come? Oh my god, he's Riley O'Reilly. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. It is
He had the
him.
best ears for being like his little
Yeah, there he
leprechaun
is.
ears.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay, all right. All right. This movie, I think Biodome came out before Luck of the Irish, but doesn't matter.
I thought he was a good actor.
That's why
in
they
this
casted
one,
him for it, dude.
Yeah.
That's why. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I could
We'll
not...
talk about other cameos later. There's another cameo.
Oh, there's a great cameo
Yeah.
later. But yeah, so they get in like I think totally awesome way to get them in, and like keep them why they have to stay, and then I did think it was funny. Like immediately after he says that, he goes in and talks to Faulkner through the thing, and he's like, "We have to get them the fuck out of here," like and stuff. I was like, "This is a businessman. This is great." And Faulkner's like, "No." I'm like, no, like we can't, like, and stuff. So, they're stuck. And I just think that I don't know, it was like maybe it's just me again being older and stuff, but I was like, man, they could like help and like do stuff, but they're just like bullshitting around.
They really are.
Which is their life, obviously. They're chronically insane.
And they're
so, like,
chaos. They are chaos.
They are
theory.
chaos. So like
they
it
are,
did work.
Yeah.
Because they were really fucking shit up and like bothering everything because you literally can't account for stuff. So like I don't know, that through line really just worked for me.
Yeah.
And I was like pleasantly, that's when I started being pleasantly surprised by this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know, what's something negative, because I can't get off that because I was just so damn, that's crazy.
That was
like,
really
actually.
good points. No, I think honestly a few of the cringiest parts of the movie for me were
let's
obviously
do a deep dive on cringe.
like obviously like what you mentioned earlier, the essay, but mostly like mostly the scene that pops up to me is at the end when they throw the party in the biodome.
Oh god,
how like they legit like found an open door in like the
desert part.
In the desert part of like
back door with a key that was left there. Again,
yeah,
you have to forgive Slapstick.
But they get out basically and they go out into the real world. And they're like, dude, we gotta throw this party. And that just hurt me because I was just like, no, like the chaos theory makes so much sense and like they can fuck shit up, but like don't invite a whole. I mean, they had a rager.
It looked like a dope party.
It looked really fun, and they were insane. Like with their big like hats on and
they were
costumes
being carried and everything,
and
people were just like
they totally wrecked the place, and that just hurt to watch. Honestly, because I'm like, I don't know, I care about the environment. I care about I care about my what is it? The ecological footprint. What is that actually called?
I think that's it. Yeah. Right.
It's called something else. But anyway, I care about all that.
Footprint.
Carbon footprint. Thank you. This is catchphone. We're just doing a little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No. Another cringe moment, but I think maybe one of my favorite scenes is when they're locked in the storage closet to sleep, but they find like the food and the laughing gas, and they're just like they have like these laughing gas masks on, and like it just like made me think of when we were kids and how like we would just chug Mountain Dews and just that was our drug.
It felt very much like sleepover, like slap happy eating junk food late at night, causing mayhem, and then like the two female scientists come and like find them because they're trying to fucking sleep because they're responsible. They're like, what the hell is going on in here? It's like, it seems
they're like, we've eaten every snack. And and they were like, literally, it was almost kind of like that Step Brothers scene where they're sleepwalking and they're just destroying everything. Like they were like, taking tanks and just like throwing them into the walls and breaking stuff.
Oh
and, like,
dude, they
cringe. It was so cringe, and you're just like, you were adults. Like, how old were they when they went into the biodome? Because
I'm gonna say
they're acting like they are 11 years old.
Yeah, they're acting like no more than 11, maybe 12.
Not no manners.
Like
no manners.
Preteen. Yeah. No God no. I'm thinking
nobody raised them.
No, I'm thinking they were mid-20s at most.
Yeah.
No, less than that, because they went to Arizona State.
Oh, right.
Because there's a scene where the girlfriends are at Arizona State and then they go to the Arizona Tech like eco party,
right,
being like forget them and stuff like that. So they're in college, so like anywhere from 18 to 21.
Okay, I guess
22.
that's fair. I feel like
Yeah.
that is pretty like prime age for, causing mayhem.
Yeah,
Because you're like,
huffing
yeah,
the fucking laughing gas and
Gosh.
eating junk food.
yeah.
I mean, college was fun, but it wasn't
Yeah.
that fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't that crazy.
I will say something that I did like, which is, I know I have a lot that I don't like, but one of the things I did love, and I forgot until I rewatched it recently, was the cameo by Tenacious D.
I wrote that down. I was
Did
like,
you?
holy fucking shit, it's Tenacious D.
They're like
Not
in the
only-
background.
Not only are they there, they are students of Arizona Tech in this movie, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude! They go to the actual school. Like, no offense to state schools, but they're at the Arizona Tech. Like, they got in there and they're doing the eco. They're playing the eco rally. Like,
Yep.
fuck yeah, dude! Because I was like they started singing, and I was like,
I know that song.
I was like,
I know that voice.
I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? And it just cuts to him as fucking young as fuck, Tenacious D, like so fast but so good, and I was very happy about that.
I was very stoked.
I wasn't losing my way in the movie, but I definitely reeled me back in real hard.
Yeah.
As a huge Tenacious D Jack Black fan, mostly
Same.
Jack Black, but
Yeah.
Tenacious D is great, obviously. Oh my god, yeah, that shit was so funny. I had a couple of jokes that I thought were pretty good. Near the beginning, we're gonna cut back a little bit because when she's like, so they try to get out of the eco rally thing by Shorzy, or not Shorzy, completely different thing. Pauly Shore hitting Baldwin in the head with a book and stuff, and they play rock paper scissors to hit him, see who gets hit in the head, to be like, oh, he's hurt, he can't go, and they're like, oh, this is bull. They see the imprint and stuff, which is funny, and they're like, oh, you're full of shit, and Monique, Polly's girlfriend, says this is just like Hands Across America all over again, and Polly says I have arthritis.
Oh my god.
I was like, that's actually a very, very funny joke. That is so funny. Oh, I can't do the Hands Across America thing, I have arthritis.
So freaking funny.
I was like, that's really funny, actually. So there was a lot of pretty good jokes like that in there, which I was shocked to see, because a lot of the negative reviews were like, Pauly Shore is the least funny, dumbest comedian that's ever been born, and this movie is terrible, more or less.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what they're a lot of them were shitting on Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
And
He's my favorite part.
I know, and he was great. I thought he was good, and I thought for the role that they were doing, the acting was exactly what it should have been.
Right.
And the timing and delivery of everything was great, because the way he delivers that line specifically, I was genuinely cracking up. I was like, that is a great excuse. That is a genius excuse to get out of Hands Across America.
Right.
I have arthritis, so I can't go. That's you could make that joke now.
Yeah.
And it would land, I think. So there was a lot of surprisingly funny jokes in this movie, I thought.
I want to know how much they actually did improv. How much was that just Pauly Shore leading the way?
Yeah, just kind of doing it, or how much was actually you say this.
Yeah,
and, do a couple takes.
Did he just come up with that on the fly, and that was why it was so funny?
So I do know for the Deadpool movies, kind of a little bit of a side, but for Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds has a writing credit in that movie, even though he did not touch the script. It wasn't a part of the script writing, because they used so much of his improv for scenes that he it merited him getting a writing credit. Because they're because this, I haven't read the script, but it could have been okay, and then Ryan say something do a quick little bit or something, and then they use that, but Ryan Reynolds is good at those kind of he is the perfect person to play Deadpool.
Yeah.
say what you will about him and Blake Lively and all the shit with that
That's
Colleen
true.
Hoover movie and stuff, but he is the perfect person to play Deadpool because he can do those kind of like quick little things like that. So he got a writing credit on all 3 movies. It started with the first one. I'm pretty sure the story goes he was not a part of the writing room, wasn't one of the head writers, but just ad-libbed so many things that they were like, that's just too perfect not to use.
Yeah.
So the point being, Pauly Shore doesn't have a writing credit on this movie, I don't think.
So maybe
so
not.
He probably did improv a lot, but not enough to like get a writing credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can't imagine he didn't like sneak some just like, I'm gonna do this during this take, and like it got in there kind of a thing. So like, I mean, there's no way. I mean, because he is a comedian.
Yeah.
You know? So there's no way he didn't just like off the dome hit shit. Because like that's the beautiful thing about comedy. Some of the funniest scenes you've ever seen are stuff where the entire crew was dying laughing because no one knew it was coming, and it just hit them in a stroke of genius. You know, like and stuff. So how much does that happen in this movie? I don't know. Point being, there's a ton of way funnier moments than I thought there was going to be. Like that joke really got me at the very beginning, and it continued to be decently funny, you know, betwixt all of the cringe of other scenes and stuff. So I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm overall though, like, I don't know how much I loved that they actually did have kind of a wholesome ending.
I feel like most slapstick does, though. Like, I don't think any slapstick, except for the argument, the one that comes to mind, maybe Austin Powers, the first one, because you find out that she's a fembot too.
Right.
But that's just to set up for another one.
Right.
They save the world, but then it's like, I can't, be in love with you forever. But also, Austin Powers can't be tied down. So it also doesn't make sense for him to get tied down forever. Am I right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, so, but other than that, like, I feel like all of them end up having a happy ending. Like, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, like,
because I guess it is supposed to be comedy, so
yeah,
have a good wholesome ending. But
yeah, it's hard to have.
I don't know. It just felt with how much mayhem they caused, like they should have gone to jail.
Oh yeah, they absolutely should have gone to jail.
Like they should have had some consequences.
Yeah, there should have definitely been consequences.
Yeah,
for
but there's logic, But again, slapstick doesn't have logic.
Exactly.
Apparently.
You can't get too deep into logic for something like that.
No,
because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you just can't ruin the movie, quote unquote, by being like, okay, and then they went to jail for like 6 months, and now they're fine. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, or do they just like, maybe they go to jail. Okay, alternate ending. They go to jail. They make friends with everyone in the jail.
Of course.
Sequel is
that's the sequel. Yeah, they go to
bio jail.
Bio jail. They start recycling in jail. And stuff like that. Honestly, yeah, I can see it.
But they just keep getting stuck and put into the little like safe rooms because they cause so much mayhem in the jail.
Oh yeah, the
what are those called?
Solitary confinement.
Yeah, with the straight jackets.
Not safe rooms, punishment.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I call it a safe room, but
I mean, it is a room where they can be safe from the other prisoners, but it's also like, okay, you're going to be locked in this room with no contact for like a month, So, I can't even imagine. Yeah, our prison system's broken, but that's for a different podcast.
Bio jail next time. Well, they're going to have to one day when we are forced to live in shelters, fallout shelters or biodomes or whatever.
Because of the environment?
I mean, it's great to know this stuff ahead of time.
Yeah, honestly, so that's one of my biggest things about the movie that I think is like a genuine positive. And this isn't an original thought. This is something that I had seen a couple people on TikTok kind of talk about in the like scientific community and stuff, because I obviously I follow a lot of movie stuff, but like I follow a lot of all kinds of stuff. And I saw a few different people talking about, like, people who are scientists talking about how, so today there is a ton of pseudoscience that a lot of people believe, whether it's like people who are anti-vax, whether it's people who believe like archaeology is wrong and stuff. And I'm not gonna bullshit. I have a whole alternative archaeology section up here in my library because I think it's interesting. You know,
Yeah.
some of it's complete bullshit. Some of it I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But these scientists were kind of positing that there's a disconnect. There's such a disconnect from science and like laymen at this point, which, you know, could be a comment on like just education in our country or in the world at large, where it's almost like a foreign language trying to understand, like someone who's not a scientist to understand the things that scientists are trying to do and understand and like let people know is important.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like trying to learn French or Chinese. Like there used to be a little bit not be as hard to explain this and
right.
stuff. And I kind of thought this movie had that kind of vibe. Like you have two really dumb fucking people who, instead of Faulkner kind of taking them by the hand and explaining like what they were doing, like, and like he immediately comes in and is more or less like, hey, fuck you guys, don't touch anything, don't ruin anything.
Yeah.
You're stuck here with us. Please don't fuck shit up. Instead of like, here's what we're doing,
embracing
and
it.
Here's why we're doing it, and like here's what you can do to help, and here's how you can understand. Not like babying them, you know, but like let it just kind of like
gentle
parenting, maybe. Yeah, might be even the right way to say it. But
they didn't have that in the 90s.
No, of course not. Yeah. Born in 95, born in
94.
Okay, so yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I love my parents. I will say. I will.
There's
say.
a way. Yeah.
But
there's no wrong way.
No, there's no right way.
Right way.
There's no right way. There's no wrong way.
Yeah.
To be honest.
There's just a way, and you just go.
Yeah.
And you try
what
it.
You gotta do.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
Exactly. But all that's to say, like, I was thinking about that watching this movie. I was like, because, you know, obviously by the end of it, they reach 100% homeostasis, and it's because like they help and stuff, and they like start showing them stuff, but then they're like, what if we did this? And it's like, oh wow, yeah, that could actually work, which again is a little like, how the fuck do they all know a bunch of science all of a sudden? They're like have all these great ideas,
and why wouldn't they just give up the experiment after that huge rager?
Yeah.
Why would they even continue?
$100 million investment. Well, no, the reason they don't is because they were going to leave, but then they fucking dude swallows the key.
Oh, you're
and
right.
Says, no, we're going to do this. They get inspired to fix it.
Right.
Because their girlfriends are so mad at them. They're like, we're fucking done. Y'all ruined everything.
Coming of age moment where they're
exactly.
like,
we
gotta make a difference.
Bit. Exactly. But I kind of felt that a little bit in this movie. I was like, it's kind of like, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, there is a disconnect between like scientists who are doing really, really hardcore shit and like just laymen. Like, again, I'm not a scientist. Like, I'm all for the environment. I'm all for fighting climate change. I'm all for like, you know, going into space and doing all that. I think all that's important and like to us right now and the future of humanity. But I don't understand fucking jack all about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not smart enough to like do that. And you know, like I think Neil deGrasse Tyson like is a great like segue for like the astronomy stuff or like the and like all the like astrophysics and stuff because like he does a good job breaking it down. You know, like and Carl Sagan was breaking it down before and stuff. And some people still aren't getting it. Some people still think the fucking Earth is flat and that we've never been to space and stuff. Like because there's a disconnect. And like as we learn more, as scientists learn more, we don't.
Yeah.
Like in schools and stuff. Like we're
but science talk maybe. Science TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. But like they like
no,
I saw
they've
like
definitely got that fine tuned now. They're not gonna.
Well, I just went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of people like kind of like scientists like kind of like, and I was like, I'm seeing a lot of like people our age like talking about it like and stuff like them being like, I can barely talk to my friends about my job because they aren't in this field. Like they just genuinely don't understand it. And like to me it's second nature because I went to school for it and stuff, but like it's just like there's like I feel like there should be like some kind of a middle but it's hard to get there. And I felt like this movie kind of like pushed that thought, like,
Yeah.
and stuff in the 90s. Like if these guys just really understood and like paid attention to how important this was, they could be a part of the solution.
So all the flat earthers need to go into a biodome.
Mm-hmm.
And learn some shit.
Oh yeah, that'd be great, dude. Let's fucking get rid of them, dude. Like fucking lock them up in a fucking biodome for science, and like so they
forget
can...
prisons. Just put them in a biodome.
Yeah, they'll figure.
They have
it
to
out.
run that shit to survive.
Yeah, but make it flat so they feel safe. If you make it round, they'll feel weird about it. And they'll bitch and moan and say it's fake and they're not in a biodome and all that bullshit. But point is, I actually got that from this movie watching it. I was like, it's kind of talking about like the disconnect between science and laymen, like, and how if there was an easier way to kind of explain everything, we could maybe make some actual progress.
Yeah.
Like in the fight for the environment and climate change and other areas of science. So I did actually genuinely like this movie, but also I was like, it's low-key funny as hell at times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there was some genuine again, a lot of cringe as well. Like, I understand the 4, but I disagree with that.
I feel like they had,
saying.
I feel like they had a good premise, right? Like a good message of
message is important and
we're gonna eventually need to live in some sort of biodome, so we gotta figure out how to do
figure
it.
out some shit,
Which I think is cool because I love that kind of stuff. I love like end of world, like how are we gonna live?
How do we save this? Yeah.
Mostly because I want to have kids at some point, and
Right.
I'm kind of terrified to have kids for that reason. Is like, okay, what's gonna happen?
I know a lot of people who are like, why bother?
And so it's like nice to know that there's like progress being made out there. But like you said, I don't know what's going on and what progress they've made.
Yeah.
I don't know where to get my news and how to trust it. So like, I love just watching movies for that reason, even though they're kind of like not realistic. It's a perspective change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like whenever there's a positive article in the fight for climate change, it's like I'll read it and be like, okay, yeah, this is good news, but I'm also like, but how? Like, I don't know exactly how. Like, and they'll like, whoever's writing the article will like dumb it down for a mass audience, and sometimes I'm still like, okay, I don't really know, but I see a lot of quotes from scientists saying this is important and this is a good thing, so I'm going to just agree with them. It'd be nice to, know a little bit more, you know, and stuff. So
well,
I think that was the message. I think that was the message of this movie. And even though it was a dumb as fuck movie, I think the message was pleasant.
Was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deserving of more than a 4%.
More than a 4.
Or
I feel
a
like
1
more than
on
a 4.
Metacritic. Yeah, more than that.
More than 1?
More than
1 out of 100?
1 out of 100. Or 4 out of 100. Yeah, or 3.7 out of 10, or 4.4 out of 10, or 51 out of 100.
Kind of nuts. Yeah. Well, 51 out of 100 I feel good about.
I feel which is like a straight 50-50, almost straight 50-50. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, but the 4 and the 1? Yeah. No, I think about that and I'm like, people really don't watch this movie.
Yeah, exactly. They see it, but they don't watch it. Like
they're not
did.
really
They're
watching
not
it.
watching this movie, dude. Come on, guys. Wake up. Fucking sheeple. Fucking open your eyes, dude. Biodome. Fix everything.
Honestly,
in the 90s,
we should turn it into a drinking game. We should figure out, let's rewatch every time that Pauly Shore goes, woo! Oh,
God.
You have to drink and you'll be drunk by 2 minutes in.
Absolutely. Anytime either of them make any random bullshit noises, what do they say? Well, they call it going tribal.
Going tribal. They are so funny. So dumb, so cringe, but I don't know.
I mean, I like Two Friends, always having a good time no matter what.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a good energy always. Mm-hmm. And then going tribal, they literally just dance and like love dancing. So, I mean, I get it, but
them two together are just like a party together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're just always having a good time. And they literally had a good time the entire time in the biodome. Mm-hmm. Even when they got serious. And dude, swallowed the key and was like, hey, we're all going to be stuck in here. And the scientists were like, we're going to fucking die. They were like, we're dead. We are 100% going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very upset about it. But they figured it out. They had a good time. Again, another stupid slapstick thing that I just love because it's so slapstick. When I'm gonna refer to him as the leprechaun. The leprechaun, when he got the like riot, like hostage negotiator guy to like, he was like, okay, like if you think this is going to work, he's like, I've done this before and it works. And they blast a safety dance.
Oh,
and it cuts
yes.
to them and the scientists all just like running around the place, just having a good time dancing and stuff. I was like, this is so stupid, but it makes me very happy.
Yeah, it's like very wholesome vibe.
It's just so nice. It's like they're all having a good time because they're doing a good job. And then I loved when they were like giving the updates to all the people in the crowd stuff. The one that was 69, they were like,
yeah,
like everybody was freaking out. I was like, this is nice. I do have one question though. I think I missed this. Why did Faulkner go crazy and like abandon his entire mission and become the bad guy all of a sudden? Because like they had the party, they locked him up. He chewed out of his thing apparently because they're like, it looks like somebody chewed through these. Like it looks like an animal. Like he chews out of the handcuffs after they lock him up because like, no, we're having this party. Like fuck you, like and stuff. We're helping when they're still being dumb. And then he's rigging coconuts to explode so he can blow up the biodome. Like I
think he just didn't. I think the whole point of him going crazy was because this was his baby. And not only did they mess it up, but they opened it. Right. And I think that he was just like, there's no going back. We're just blowing the shit up. You know, like
maybe. Yeah.
I think he just didn't want to have his name put on this.
Fair, but there's also
that's all I assume though.
But there's also that whole thing when he's like with the parrot. The parrot's like, I'm God, I am God, and then he's like, no, I am God, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back to him after like a period of time, and he's wearing the parrot as a headdress.
I think I missed that.
It's like when he's like working on making the explosive.
I mean, I know this, but I don't think I like.
Yeah, I don't
think I caught it.
I was like, okay, so he's having like a Frankenstein playing God complex right now.
Yeah.
It just seemed like that came out of nowhere. Again,
that slapstick. I agree with that, but I honestly,
again, slapstick.
It could mean nothing, could mean everything.
Yeah.
I don't.
But like, it was like, how do we get him to become the bad guy? Because he doesn't leave. He stays when they get locked in. Also love the bit when they giving the speech, he's going to eat the thing and stuff, and then like one last party goer comes up and is like, hey, I don't want to be locked in here, can you just like let me out real quick? Like he's like giving the impassioned speech about how they should stay, and he's like, hey, could you just let me out before you eat that key real quick? And like, they're like, oh yeah, and like pop him out and stuff, and he's like, okay, thanks guys, and like it leaves, and then they're like, and then he eats the key and stuff. I was like, that's just a good bit. That's a good bit.
It was a good bit.
But yeah, like Faulkner, I just don't understand, like, again, I don't really,
I don't know, maybe because they couldn't just go wholesome after that. They like needed a little more mayhem.
Yeah, you absolutely need, because like, again,
like,
he literally made bombs out of coconuts,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I just don't, I feel like I missed the shift. You know what I mean? It was during the party, but I missed exactly when the shift happened, I guess. I don't know.
Well, Faulkner's the main scientist.
Yeah,
So, this was his experiment.
Is his baby, yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of is like once they opened up the door again, he's like, well, there's no going back.
Yeah, he said, fuck it, and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, so I'm just going to blow this whole thing and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, sure. I mean, and again,
That's my logic. But then there is no logic. What could it be?
For slapstick, that's more than enough logic. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I was just like, oh, did I miss like, I was asking like, did I miss literally like a sentence? You know what I mean? Like, did I miss like one sentence about him being like, I'm gonna take this place down because of ABC, which is something that happens in slapstick when you're like, okay, we need this guy to be the bad guy, because again, everything is very surface level when it comes to the characters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the bad guy is the bad guy because he fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like, and that's
well, and I think he kind of did suck the whole time. But he
he absolutely.
But he wasn't
the
like
time.
evil bad guy until the end.
Yeah,
like actual. But even then, he wasn't even. He was like going.
He was
his own mentee.
pretentious asshole the entire time for sure. But
not like villainous.
Not yeah, exactly. Not like a true blue villain.
Yeah.
So, but again, doesn't matter. They needed a bad guy, and
that was the bad guy.
It make honestly, out of anybody else to become the bad guy, he's the best one.
Yeah.
Because the Leprechaun, he was kind of a bad guy because he was like
the investor.
He was
like, you're messing with my investment.
We're done. Like, I've lost all this money. But then they start making money, and they're making T-shirts.
Yes, I love that they were making T-shirts.
Low-key kind of want one of those T-shirts. Thought the T-shirt was great design, looked cool, would totally wear it.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore, if you hear this, send me a T-shirt. Send
right.
me and Sam a T-shirt.
Exactly.
From Biodome. And then because at the end he's all like, break him out of there, like we're done. But then he has his little cronies come up being like, oh, like the, what was it called? The Bladder Blaster was the soda, like the soda company they were always drinking. It's like they want to do a deal with them, like they want them. These scientists want them in Geneva next week to like as soon as possible to talk about chaos theory and all this stuff. And he's just dollar bills shining his eyes. So he's like, let's go. He's ready for it.
Marketing.
At that point. Yeah, exactly. Insane. I think that was my only big burning question for shockingly, I think that was my only plot wise, oh, what did I miss? How did we get here?
Yeah.
How did Faulkner become evil? Because after he becomes evil, it rides out he's doing his little evil plan. Don't understand how he made coconut bombs with detonators that he could trigger and stuff.
Well, no, there was this one quote where Pauly Shore's like, "What are you, a scientist or rocket scientist or something?" And he was like, "Yes, I am." So maybe that's all the logic you need.
I know. I did love that bit because I knew he was gonna say it.
Yeah.
But I was like,
that was a throw in. Yeah.
Because he's like, okay. He's kind of stands down a little bit. He's kind of oh fuck.
He's yeah, you're right. You are a scientist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Back down to the layman.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's like, wait, you are a scientist. I forgot. Mm-hmm. For what was happening right now, where I am.
Exactly.
And what we're doing.
I do genuinely like this movie. I guess at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to say is I think it deserves more. It deserves way more than a 4. Way more than a 4.
What would you rate it?
So out of 100,
because you've rated a lot of movies,
so I can get technical.
Yeah,
I still think it would be something that's worthy of being on Bad Movie Debate.
So less than 50.
less than 60.
Oh, less than 60.
It's going to be less than 50, but
yeah.
But I would say I think this is a solid 42 to 46.
Wow.
I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I should have. I feel you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was it was funnier than I thought it was. I actually genuinely laughed more than I thought I would. Which was awesome. And I literally thought I was going to be rolling my eyes the entire time, but I was actually this is pretty funny. And then kind of once I got into the train of thought of the disconnect between scientist and layman thing, and wow, this
thought-provoking.
A lot of this would be solved if they just communicated with them better. If these really smart people just talk to these chronically insane people, just and tried to instead of blowing them off or you know what I mean? I was it's kind of a vibe, honestly, because they finally get it. Again, they start to get it not because of the scientist efforts, but because of their girlfriends are going to leave them.
Yeah.
And that's obviously their main concern.
Vast mistakes. Yeah.
Exactly. But they finally get it, and once they get it, they start to help, and they end up saving the day, and stuff. And I'm yeah, you know, because like it takes all of us, you know. And I was like, all right,
Wholesome.
Like, message is good. It was more wholesome than I thought it was going to be. I thought the entire goal was going to literally just so that they don't lose their girlfriends. I thought that was going to be the entire goal, but it was like, no, they're like, we want to save our girlfriends, but also we actually do genuinely care about the environment now because we understand. We've like learned how it works and how to deal with it
on a small scale.
Exactly, and they understand. Yeah, exactly. You're thinking locally. We're thinking globally now. Yeah. Great bit. Great thing. Loved that so much. That was so funny. Yeah, because at the beginning he's like, you're thinking globally and you can think locally. And then they get in the biodome and he flips it on her, and she's like, wow. So funny. So fucking funny. But yeah, I just think that like obviously their main goal was to not lose their girlfriends, but they actually grew and learned a lot about what their girlfriends cared about, which is something that affects all of us.
True.
In a way. So I was like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good. It's a shit movie still.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. It's way cringy. There's a lot of issues with it. It's not nearly as good as any of the 11, 12 slapstick comedies we talked about at the beginning of the episode by a mile. Like,
yeah,
but
definitely not like my number one. I feel like it's not even
top 5. It's not even top 10.
Not even top 10.
Not even top 10. But it's not 4%.
No,
it's not 4%.
Not 4%.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But
I will say. Okay, my rating.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would say it's like a 40%.
40? Okay.
I think 40%
About
because
the same spot.
Because
then, yeah.
like for me, a movie rating is a mix of like entertainment and like movie quality, like the production.
100%.
Like I think it's really cool that like for the production of it, they like I need to actually look into like the special effects and all that, but
sure.
I feel like they have a cool premise of like where they're filming is in a biodome.
Oh yeah, no, the biodome is like, especially for the 90s, like I mean, just like even
very
like,
advanced.
That's all just straight up.
That's
built that
future.
shit.
Yeah,
that's all. They built a biodome to shoot in.
Yeah,
like and stuff. Sure, maybe the plants weren't real.
Yeah,
you know, and like they only had like the few times you see animals walking around. We very
rarely. The butterfly scene when he loses all the butterflies. Oh my god, so
Romulus,
cringe.
That fucking man. That poor man. He turns around. They get him on his side, and he comes around to like him and stuff, which is fine. But that poor man. That poor man. But yeah, all of that like very minimal animals around, but like it don't cost that much to rent a goat for a day. Like
that's true.
So like all of that's obviously practical and real and stuff, but like the fact that like building an entire biodome to shoot these scenes and stuff. Obviously the biodome itself.
Did they actually build a biodome?
They did not build that full size thing.
Okay.
I would say
like just the sets and stuff.
I would say the wide shots where you see the biodome is a Star Wars Indiana Jones model.
Got it.
But then those scenes where you see it is like they did construct like here's the desert, so we can do a big wide shot of the desert. But a lot of that could be studio, like of the like where they're like walking through the forest. All right, you build up a fake thing, like literally like high school play where it's like you build up a fake waterfall, get some water running, fake plants, but you don't ever see the top or the bottom. Boom, done. Yeah. So all practical setting and stuff. They didn't build the full biodome for sure.
I do love the way that they did that though. That's like something for me. A rating in a movie is where they're setting it. And for me, like I said earlier, I really like apocalyptic shit and like
like the time.
How are these creators imagining what our future looks like? I just love seeing all the different perspectives.
It's 30 years ago and we're still there.
I know. And I'm like, I just watched Fallout recently and I feel like that was like, and
I need to watch the show.
Do they have a movie? Oh, I knew they had a game.
But... Well, I mean, like you watched Fallout, cause like I'm saying I've never played the game, so I haven't watched the show. It wasn't die hard to watch it.
I haven't played the game either.
But I really like Ella Pornell, so
yeah, she's awesome in it.
And I love Yellow Jackets.
So wait, you haven't seen it at all? You haven't seen Fallout?
I have seen the trailers.
Please watch
I haven't
it.
seen a single moment.
Honestly, that should have been a good precursor for this movie too. So
Oh,
just
yeah.
be like Fallout Shelter, Biodome, like
Yeah, that's true. I'll watch it.
You should watch it.
I love her.
I didn't ever
know.
play the game, and and Brett kind of filled some stuff in for me, but I feel like most of it is.
I heard from people that have played the games that the show did a really good job, like adapting the lore, because there's like 4 or 5 games now.
Yeah,
like
I
a
said,
fuck ton of games,
yeah.
but like the general world, like
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna do this. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me, they did a good job apparently.
Yeah.
So I will watch it.
But yeah, back to Biodome though. Like I doing some like research, found out that Pauly Shore has his own podcast. It's called PMS. And now I just want to watch it.
What does that stand for?
It doesn't stand. I don't think it stands for anything. I think it's like literally says Pauly
Is his
Shore's
middle-
podcast.
Is his middle name M?
Maybe. But
Regardless.
it literally didn't say. You know how like if you had your logo be BMD,
BMD.
it wasn't like that. It didn't say like what it was underneath.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
in my reresearch that they had like they even had Stephen Baldwin on the podcast, and they both are just like old. They just look really old, and they're not even that old. They're like in their late 50s or something.
Yeah, because because again they were in college in the story.
They're like almost 60, so like they had to have been like 30
years ago now. So they were like probably mid to late 20s when the movie actually happened.
Was filmed.
Yeah, so. But they look so old.
I know, but now I want to listen to his podcast, honestly.
Yeah, I might check it out. I mean, like, again, like, Encino Man's great.
If I just need, like, a little pick-me-up, like, I'm on my dog walks, and I'm just like, I just really need some, like, energy. I'm just have Pauly Shore laugh. If I just listen to Pauly Shore laughing, like...
Honestly, yeah.
That would get me going.
Yeah, again, all these fucking haters, I'm going to say it, on fucking Rotten Tomatoes, saying Pauly Shore's a piece of shit, and he's a terrible comedian and stuff. Okay, maybe he's not good at stand-up and stuff, but he's good in this fucking movie. He's good in Encino Man. I haven't seen it in the Army, but apparently that's a pretty fun movie too, so fuck you, dude. I'm just jealous that you get paid to
I just want to be friends with Pauly Shore. That's what
he seems like a chill dude. Yeah. So it's fine. I don't know. It's fine. So I am genuinely gonna give this like I'll narrow it down. I'll go to one number. I said 42 to 46. I'll go with 43. I'm going to give this a genuine 43% out of 100, and you said 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does still make it a bad movie.
Still bad.
But it is one of those which, like all movies that we do on this podcast, every single one of these movies is worth watching. Some more than others. I think this one's absolutely worth watching. If you only watch movies based on what reviews, like ratings are, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. This movie was funnier and more thought-provoking than I fucking thought it was going to be. Again, I had literally just seen these TikToks that these scientists were saying like less than a week ago. So, maybe if I didn't catch those, I wouldn't have
had a thought-provoking.
But I still would have been like, yeah, it's a funny slapstick movie. Like, it's ass, but like, it's a funny slapstick movie. Like, yeah, watch it if you just want something dumb to watch. Like, like fun to watch with friends probably and stuff. Like drinking, cracking jokes at the movie itself. Like, yeah, this is absolutely up there. Like with those movies and stuff. Again, it's not as good as any of the other slapstick movies we talked about because those are genuinely really funny and like a little more well thought out, but still a bad movie. And that's fair.
And I got Jacob to watch it, and he had never seen it.
Oh, really?
You. Talking about you.
Oh, me? I thought you were talking about Jacob Nichols.
No, got you to watch it.
You did. And I loved it. I genuinely like it. I'm not going to go out, like...
Have you not seen any of the movies that you've rated on here? Like, have you seen every movie?
Every movie that's been on the show?
Yeah.
I have...
Have you had to watch a lot of movies? Like
most of them I have seen before. But there's probably this is the 51st episode.
Wow.
Milestone. I would say not all of them are specifically about movies. I would say I probably for the first time had to watch I would say 10 plus or minus.
Okay.
For the first time, have to watch like the fucking dumbass Christmas movie Antine made me watch for our Christmas episode I did with her, not this past year, but the year before. Most wonderful time of the year.
Oh,
Hallmark
so bad.
movie. So fucking bad. She loves it though.
She loves those Hallmarks.
And I love that for her.
Yeah.
But that one is rough. But
well, I'm glad that
regardless,
you're not the only one that's watching these for the first time. So then I think our listeners will feel more confident.
I hope so. Yeah.
I know I am when I listen to your podcast. I feel like if there's a movie I hadn't seen, I'll go and watch it after I listen, or I'll see the title and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it, and then I'm gonna listen to the podcast.
That's why. I
love the debrief.
Yeah, I always recommend watching the movie before.
Yeah,
and kind of like getting your own thoughts about it. But but also I feel like with this movie specifically and like this episode, I feel like listening to this and then watching it might make you appreciate it a little bit more.
I agree.
And stuff. Because again,
4. That's 4.
4. That's insane. A 1 on Metacritic. Absolutely not correct.
Bonkers.
Bonkers. Batshit crazy. Honestly. Chronically insane. Chronically insane.
Time to go tribal, you guys.
Time to go tribal. I don't think there's any other way to end it. I think that's the perfect way to end this episode. Go tribal, boys.
Love it.
And girls and everybody in between.
Non-binary.
All right, well, follow on YouTube, Instagram, all that bullshit. Bad Movie Debate or Bad Movie Debate Pod on TikTok because I had to change my name because of a bunch of shit. Anyway, it's fine. I'm on all of that stuff except for X. I'm not on there. Refuse to be at this point. But follow on there. Anybody let me know what you think about this movie because I am shocked still that I like this movie as much as I did. I literally it was 4% and I literally like times 10. Literally times 10 like this movie so much more. I gave it 43. Like I'm like over times 10, I guess. Anyway.
We gotta know what everybody else's rating is on Insta.
Oh yeah, I'll put up on an Insta, follow on Insta for sure because I'll do a poll. I love doing the polls to see what people actually think and stuff. Like the last one I did with Nick, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, we were both like, yeah, it's fine, but like, yeah, it's a good movie and stuff. And it was like, I think it was me and Austin were the only people to vote bad, and she only voted bad because she knew that was my stance to give it a little extra juice, like and stuff. Like everybody else who voted was like, good movie, and I was like, damn, okay, so like I was personally way off, like because I was like, it's fine, and people were like,
I like that movie too. Yeah, I'm really curious what people think about Biodome now.
I am curious too because I know there's a lot of people out there who have seen this movie, but people don't talk about it. You know what I mean? It gets lost again, like it gets lost in the slapstick.
Yeah,
like the 20, 30-year-old slapstick now gets lost for sure. But this one's fucking worth watching because they're talking about something important that we still need to fucking talk about and be fixing today. Thank you, Pauly Shore. And thank you, Sam, for being here with me once again.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Is there anything you wanna plug, like direct people to? It could be like, watch this other movie. It could be as simple as that. I'm going to say again, watch Severance. It's the best show on TV right now. I've been talking about it for like 3 weeks. Every episode I've been doing.
Well, if you need another podcast to listen to after you listen to Bad Movie Debate.
PMS?
No, well, PMS. We need to listen to Pauly Shore. Plug. Second plug, Giggly Squad is one of my favorite easy listening.
Okay.
Super low key. They just talk shit all day.
They're just
talking, and they just giggle. And so if you want something similar to what we do, but with less substance, Giggly Squad.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
There
That's
you go.
one of my mains.
Fucking check it out. We'll be back whenever we're back for more.
Cool.